This is You, Me, and the Community on ASU-TV. I'm Candace Evans, Senior Career Advisor for the NYIT College of Osteopathic Medicine on the Jonesboro campus of Arkansas State University and host of You, Me, and the Community here on ASU-TV. On this episode, we're joined by the one and only Mr. Adrian Everett, Miss Emma Agnew, and Jarrell Jarez to talk everything that has happened and is happening around Black History Month events on campus and around the community. Joining on this set for this segment is Mr. Adrian Everett. We are here to talk all things Black History Month on campus and in the community. Of course, I need the details. How did it come about? Not necessarily how did it come about, but the planning of it, what all went into it. Are you still stressed? How's it going? Tell me, how did it start?
Yeah, so first I want to say thank you for having me on the show this morning, Candace. And I'm very enjoying planning Black History Month. We are about halfway through the month of events. It came about I built a committee back in November of community partners as well as faculty and staff across campus to put together different events for the whole month of Black History Month. And so this was the first time that I've actually got to lead that effort as the director of the Multicultural Center. And so I'm big on community partnerships, and so literally I reached out to the members at KLEK. Obviously, you were part of the committee as a member of the NAACP here in the community, and then also reaching out to Mr. Quinton Sanders, who came to me and talked about hosting a production with a majority minority cast. And so those are some of the partners that we have for the events that we're hosting this month. With KLEK, they've hosted financial nights. They have broadcast pretty much all of our events this month, both the ones on campus as well as those that are in the community. And so we will have had about 25 events throughout the whole month of February for Black History Month. And so it's been going great. We have had our kickoff, which was kind of a delay because of the ice storm. Students were able to come to the student union, play card games, listen to music through DJ King Vic. And then we had the soul food dinner, which was a big hit for the community. We had about 300 people that showed up to that event.
And it was back this year.
It was
right?
back
After 2 years.
Yes. It has. We haven't had the big community one in a couple of years because of COVID. And so it was a big hit. We hosted that at the BCM on campus. And we had so many community volunteers that came out and cooked soul food dishes. Not something that literally came out of, Black people's kitchen. So real soul food. It wasn't, just out the can. It was, they put, some arm and labor into planning those dishes. My favorite dish was the bread pudding. I don't know who made it, but it was really good.
I didn't have that dish.
The bread pudding was a hit. And so that happened already, as well as Dr. Lily Fears hosted a panel presentation about the history of the Black history here at A-State. And that was very, very informing because there was so much that she had researched with help from her class. And she put it all together, and the display is actually up in the museum until March.
Let's hit on that a little bit more. So if you have not had the opportunity to go over to the museum to check out Dr. Fears' presentation of the history of African Americans here on our campus, please go out and see it. The presentation was phenomenal. I know that I had to watch it via Facebook, but you were actually there.
Sure.
Right, that highlighted it. So what's your synopsis of the entire event? I know it was amazing,
Oh, it was
but
very
you were
good.
sitting there
Yes.
firsthand. I caught it some hours after, but
Yeah.
how was it for you watching it live, seeing it live?
It was just, learning the history of African Americans here on this campus from the beginning
Yeah.
to the first black students that came to A-State up until 2013, which I was fortunate to be a part of some of the black history there as being SJ president and being homecoming king during my time here. She highlighted it all,
Yeah.
and she literally went back through multiple yearbooks to capture the history here at the university. And so it was very, very educational,
Yeah.
just being able to look at, how it started and then just thinking about where we're at and the opportunities that we have ahead of us here
Yeah.
at the university.
That's awesome. So when we talk about the community partnerships, has this been like the first time that the Multicultural Center has partnered with the community, or has this been something ongoing in previous years?
We have had, certain segments in previous years, but I think this is probably the first time that I've literally been intentional with reaching out to community partners to promote, other events that are going on to highlight Black History Month that are taking place by those in the community. I think in the past we've mainly focused on the on-campus events,
Right,
but
right.
I'm big on, like I said, bringing the community to A-State and taking our A-State students, faculty, and staff out in the Jonesboro community to let them know about, the Black history that's within Jonesboro, outside of A-State.
Absolutely. So why is that important to you to merge the two together?
Well, A-State is a small, big piece of
Yeah.
Jonesboro as a whole. And I know for me, I look back and I came to A-State. I came to Jonesboro because of A-State. However, 15 years later, I'm still here
Yeah.
in Jonesboro, and there's many things to get involved with outside of the university. And so I think that's a big piece of, retaining our students after they graduate,
For sure.
connecting them with the community and, the programs that we have within the community so that they can see that Jonesboro can become home for them. And so that's one of my main goals in this role is definitely connecting our minority community with the campus. It's a big recruiting tool for us when we have community partners come to events like the Soul Food Dinner. I know one example of a high school student that came out to the Soul Food Dinner,
Wow.
and they met the chancellor, and it was such a big ordeal that they got a chance to meet the chancellor on that night. And so those kind of connections can happen when you bridge the gap between the community as well as the university.
Yeah, so this particular calendar this year seems jam-packed with
It is.
good events.
Yes.
So from your perspective, which event or past event that's already taken place were you looking forward to the most during the planning stages?
Well, the Living Legends award ceremony is very special to me.
Yeah.
This is the 5th year for that event, and I've been on the committee and ever since that award was started. And so it's always special to me so that we can highlight different people that have been legends here at the university or within the community. And so this year, looking at the individuals that we're honoring, we have some community partners that we're honoring, including Bishop Adrian Rogers, who's a bishop at Fullness of Joy Ministries, as well as some of our campus individuals like Ms. Sharon Lee and as well as an alum, Mr. Jamie Carradine, are the 3 that we are recognizing as current living legends. And then we'll be highlighting 2 individuals that are no longer with us that are deceased, Ms. Quabila Harden, as well as Mr. Tierra Hamilton. And so those are 2 big community advocates.
Sure.
And that's where, like I said, we continue to tie in the university with, the campus.
Awesome. So, and that event is taking place on what day, what time? We need all the
Sure.
details just in case anyone out there
Yes.
watching wants to go to the Living Legends
Yeah,
event.
so the Living Legends, to make sure, is February the 25th at 10 o'clock a.m. in the ASU auditorium. We do have a RSVP link just so we can get a head count to prepare for kind of the reception part of it. But it's free event, free of charge. Everyone's invited to come out and celebrate the accomplishments that those individuals have done already and those that are no longer with us accomplished during their time living.
So again, that's for community and for on campus.
Most definitely,
right?
community and on campus.
Awesome, awesome. So outside of that event, what other event are you looking
Yes,
forward
so totally looking forward to the production that Mr. Quinton Sanders is directing. This titled Once on This Island. Like I said, it's a full minority cast that will be taking place this weekend. And then also with the NAACP town hall meeting that's actually, I think, taking place tonight via Zoom. And then we have another big community event that ends the month. It's actually taking place March the 4th. It's called the Evolve Show, and it's a big production as well, more like a fashion show that highlights the arts. Thanks to Edgy Studios and Mr. Andrew Daly, that's continually brought that event back to campus. And we have students that will be, modeling, showcasing their arts, singing, dancing, all kinds of arts that'll be on display the night of the Evolve Show. And that's a free event as well.
Yeah, so it's a lot of good stuff. So this calendar this year, 2023, has been jam-packed. Are you looking forward to 2024? Just knowing all that's been done this year, everything is opening back up. What's your anticipations for next year?
Always growing and developing more partnerships and building on what we did, the previous years. And so I'm always networking. As I was walking in, I was on the phone talking to other potential partners and different things like that about how the Multicultural Center can connect and work together in the future with other community partners. And so I'm big on community partnerships. I like to be out in the community involved as the face of the Multicultural Center. And that's how we develop those partnerships with the community.
Awesome, awesome. Man. Well, listen, y'all, we're going to continue our conversation. Thank you, Mr. Adrian Everett, for coming and sharing. This is Mr. A-State himself. We'll continue the conversation with Miss Emma Agnew and Mr. Jarrell Jarez as they discuss Black History Month activities happening around the A-State campus and the community. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
Welcome back to You, Me, and the Community on ASU-TV. we are continuing our conversation with one of my favorites, Miss Emma Agnew and Mr. Jarrell Jerez. Yes, and we're going to be talking about some events that are going to be taking place. And I know this evening is actually the NAACP event. So, Miss Emma, you got to give everyone details so they can hop on Zoom tonight
Okay.
and be a part of this wonderful conversation. So, tell us about it.
Okay, I'd be glad to. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and this platform to talk about the NAACP Black History Program. So on tonight, we're doing a Zoom called the NAACP, Then, Now, and Future. Talking a little bit about the evolution of the NAACP. It's going to be a panel discussion. I'm sure everyone under the sound of my voice knows Dr. Sharice Jones Branch. She will be discussing the then, and a past president of the Pine Bluff NAACP will be discussing now, and Ms. Wanda Neal, I guess I should say her name, and Mr. Barry Jefferson, who is the State Political Action Chair and the president of the Jacksonville NAACP branch, will be discussing the future of the NAACP. So I'm very excited about that. I won't get too much into details about those stages of history because I want everyone to tune in tonight and be a part of that discussion.
6 p.m., right?
6
p.m.
p.m.
We'll log on, have that discussion. So, Miss Emma, why was this important to have?
Well, I think it's really important at this time because I grew up knowing about the NAACP, but there are so many generations since then that a lot of folk don't know, are not familiar with the NAACP and what the NAACP does. There seems to be some thought that the NAACP is just there to handle discrimination complaints.
Yeah.
If you feel you've been discriminated in the workplace. And while that's is a part of what we do, it's such a small part. And so I just think it's important for people to realize the importance of the NAACP, that it still has a role. I mean, the NAACP is the oldest civil rights organization in the world. It was founded in 1909, and it has pretty much had the same mission ever since its founding. We are in the forefront, on the front lines of social justice and civil rights for people of color. And so I just think it's important that younger generations understand the NAACP, understand why it was founded in the first place, and understand why it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you are actually the past president of the Craighead County chapter of NAACP. So,
Yes.
if there was anything, and also now our first
First
vice
vice,
president.
yes.
So, if there's anything that you could, tell those that are watching about the NAACP, not to get into the presentation tonight, but just some information as to maybe why they should get involved in the NAACP.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Well, I think most people understand that now is a perfect time to get involved in the NAACP. Some people, will ask, what does the NAACP do now? Why do we need the NAACP now? Because, of course, when it was started, it was a much different time than now. It was shortly after slavery, and it was during the Jim Crow era, and there were boycotts and et cetera, going on, and blacks still not allowed in certain, certain places, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think it's important for people to understand that we're in a time now where we're about to go back to all of that if people don't get involved. And of course, we are under the national NAACP, so we take their lead on issues. But There are so many things going on in our country right now at the federal and state level that appear to want to go backwards, to take us back to times when, voting was a challenge. It used to be a challenge to vote, and it seems like we're trying to go back. Voting should be easy. It shouldn't be a problem. It should be easy for everybody. And it seems we're trying to go back to a time when you have to jump through hoops to prove you're worthy to vote. And also with some of the other legislation that's talking about dismantling affirmative action, et cetera, et cetera. The NAACP is on the forefront of that, along with other organizations. We're not the only one. And so it's just important. We're stronger in numbers.
Yeah.
So the more people we have as members, the stronger we are. It's just that simple. And so we need members to make our chapter, our branch here in Jonesboro strong.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm sure we're going to hit on some of that in tonight's conversation. So if you all want to join in on Zoom, we'll be talking about the NAACP past, present, and the future. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. But now we're going to jump over to Mr. Jarrell Jerez,
Yes,
right?
good
And
morning.
I have to have details again about your event. I need everything. How did it come about? Your title? Give me details.
Well, so Once on This Island came about just how anything else can come about, just a group of friends getting together and speaking about how impactful this show is. Just for the two of us, I remember clearly it was just us hanging out at Quinton Sanders' house and just watching it. And once it finished, we started crying because it was just such a beautiful production. It was so beautifully done and so well put together. And it needs to be seen by people of this community specifically, Black and brown people, because it puts them at the forefront of that story and shows that, hey, there's stories of Black and brown people loving and having their day-to-day trials and tribulations and being a part of a artistry project that I think is great for representation and shows that everyone can do theater, everyone can be a part of something as beautiful as musical theater, and this community needs to see something with people that look like them in it.
Absolutely. So how long have you all worked on the production?
Usually we work longer on productions, but we wanted to do a more faster process. So this time we did it for about a month and a half.
Wow.
And in that month and a half, we prepared all of the choreography, Quinton Sanders prepared all of the choreography and along with our good friends Jamie and Destiny Harris, who they partnered together and helped put together this show. And just in that month and a half with all of our cast.
Yeah. So was this something that you all desired to do specifically for Black History Month? Or was it, we might do it in the future, but then you all saw the opportunity? How did it come about placing it right in Black History Month?
Well, we always love the shows. Quinton has loved the show for a long time. I have loved this show for a long time. And we thought, it's about time that this show is put on here in Jonesboro. And at the time when we had that epiphany, it was around November, December. And it was just perfect timing. So we were like, let's do it for Black History Month and really make sure that people who are in this show or who can see themselves be in something like this, be able to see it on such a pivotal month.
Awesome. So what role do you play in the production?
I play the role of Daniel Bosom, which is Timoon's love interest. Timoon is the main character of this production, and it kind of shows our getting to know each other and everything that unfolds because as we live on this island where classism and colorism divide the two between people of French and Black mixed descent and peasants who are entirely Black. And it shows the trials and tribulations that these two go through as they maneuver through their relationship, both being young and in love.
Wow. So did you help with the choreography? Like, what other roles did you play? Did you help? How did you help put it together?
I helped with just a minute amount of the production.
Okay.
Besides doing my role, I was able to, thankfully, Quinton gave me the opportunity to help out with a scene that involves a dance from my family's not home country, but the island that they share it with. Traditionally, it's called palo, which is a form of religious practice, and it allows people to express themselves within that religious practice. And I was able, thankfully, to help a little bit with that and kind of
Yeah.
give a little bit of my home island, or my parents' home island, but just enough of my home island, I feel, as well.
Awesome. So tell viewers when and where and how they can view this wonderful production.
So this production will be put on at the ASU Pavilion this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. here on campus.
Oh, wow. So is it free to the public, or is there going to be a cost?
You can buy tickets at the door and online at through the Center Stage Productions Facebook site. Tickets are $17, and it's a beautiful show. It's very
It's worth
much.
it. Yeah. Awesome. So what is it that you are desiring for people who do see the production to take away from it?
That is a really big question, and
Yeah.
what I want people to take away from it most is to just see themselves in it.
Yeah.
To have something so beautifully done and see other people be a part of it that look like them, it's really going to have a beautiful effect. Recently, we just performed in Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm bringing this up because it deals with it.
Yeah.
But it was also put on by Center Stage Productions, and in it, after the show was done, a little black boy came up to Quinton and I and said how much of a positive effect we had on him, seeing people who look like him be in musical theater, and it's inspired him to do the same when he gets older. And that's what I want this community to experience and feel when they see this show and see Kyla Hood perform in that role, who's also an A-State student, perform in that role of Timoon, and see, I want her to be able to have a positive effect on black and brown little girls, and let them see that they also have opportunities like this that they can easily jump on and show their talent and their artistic and creative drive.
Wow. Awesome. Man, I wish the conversation could continue about these wonderful events. This will do it for this edition of You, Me, and the Community. I want to thank all of my guests, Mr. Adrian Everett, Ms. Emma Agnew, and Mr. Jarrell Jerez. Also, I want to thank our instructor and all those who helped the students and all of the engineers as well. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. This will do it for You, Me, and the Community. We'll see you next time.